Hello everyone, happy Friday the 13th. We are not going to let superstition keep us from having a good time and painting. Welcome, welcome. Come on in to my little craft corner here. I am Pam Savage, owner of Young at Heart Creations, and I love to paint, but I love to paint with you more. So say hello when you come on. We're going to be painting on a denim jacket today. I have a closet full of them and I need to get them done for a craft show this fall. So I'm going to be working on those off and on with different things. And happy almost Valentine's Day. We are supposed to be getting a lot of rain here in North Texas for Valentine's Day. But that's not going to stop us from going out to eat. We're going to go out to eat anyway tomorrow. All right, so say hello as you come on. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Friday and that you have a great weekend. Let me get us pulled up over here on my iPad, so hopefully we can see comments. You never know. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. There we are. Okay, I see the little red live up at the left-hand corner, so hopefully that means we are in business here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started because I have a lot to do and I don't know that we'll get finished with this, and I'm not even sure how I'm going to completely finish it out yet, but I thought you could at least hang out with me while I get all the base coating done and some things like that. Okay, so I am going to bring you down. Say hello when you come on. I see that we've got a couple on here, but say hi and let's get going. Okay, I'm going to bring you down. So this is a vest. It's not really a jacket, and I start out with a shirt-shaped cardboard, piece of cardboard from Hobby Lobby, and I've used these so much. These have kind of seen their better days, but I also have some wax paper or parchment paper or something like that to cover it with so that the paint doesn't go through the garment onto the cardboard so it doesn't stick to it. And then as tightly as I can get it, I clip it off with all kinds of little clippies just to give me a tight surface to paint on. You don't want it real loose because that makes it a little bit harder to paint on and get your pattern on it. This one was a little bit hard with all the stuff it's got on the front of it to get it super tight, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to pull it down just a little bit more there. Okay, so I will be using both just regular acrylic paint and fabric paint. This acrylic paint, just regular acrylic paint, I mix it with Fabric Deco Art Fabric Medium. I know that's backwards for you. I got this at, I believe, Hobby Lobby. Yes, Hobby Lobby. It was $6.79. And you can also order it straight from Deco Art, and you may can even get it on Amazon. I'm not sure. But you mix 2 parts paint. So you put 2 parts paint, 1 part medium, and just mix it up real good. And then you've got fabric paint. So you can use either. If you don't have any fabric paint, get some of that. And don't go buy a bunch of fabric paint unless you're going to be painting a lot. Using it, you can just add that to it. And that'll last you a long time. I've had that for probably a year and a half now. And so I'm just going to use this little ice tray. That's what I've mixed it up in. And we're just going to get started and get us a base coat going here. And it'll take a couple of coats. And I like using these. I got these at Walmart. They're Royal Lang and Nickel, I think. The words have kind of, there we go. Royal Lang and Nickel. And they have the little turquoise. They don't feel wood. They feel more like plastic. But they've got a little bit stiffer bristle in them. And so I like that little bit stiffer bristle. And it may just be stiffer because I've used it so much. But I'm going to go ahead and get my brush a little wet and then just dab it off on my paper towel. And I just took some chalk and chalked the pattern on. I traced around a wooden heart that I have. And then I just hand traced the inside heart. So we're going to go just inside that chalk line or just right over it. When I'm done, I'll take an old toothbrush or something and get the chalk that I don't want on there off. So I'm going to do up here top first so I can lay my arm down here. and not have to worry about getting it in paint. But I also don't want to rub my chalk line off. So any pattern that you have for your door hangers or whatever, you can paint on fabric. You can use graphite paper to put your pattern on. Just need to make sure you get a color that will show up. So I thought we'd do a heart on this one since it's Valentine's Day Eve. Last time we did Kleenex box with the heart on it. So do you have any big plans for Valentine's Day tomorrow? Mr. Pam has to work, so we are, after he gets off work, we're going to go out and eat somewhere. My choice. And I haven't completely decided where that will be yet. I really don't care. If it gets me out of cooking and doing dishes, then it doesn't really matter to me. Come out a little further there. You don't want to try to get it completely covered on the first coat. You just want to get a good base laid down. Hi, Miss Christy. Hello, hello. Hi, Judy. I painted senior jeans over the last summer. Don't know if I'll paint them again. It was not hard, but it was a lot. It is a lot. Hi, Susie. Hello, hello. Yeah, it is a little bit time consuming with the drying in between. But if you're not rushed, it is relaxing. But for the first few times that you paint on it, you just have to kind of learn, just with, with any different project material, whether it be wood, metal, whatever you're working on, they're all going to be a little different, and you just have to do it until you get used to what to expect from the project piece that you're using. Some people just despise painting on canvas, and I really like it. Now, at first, I did not. It just felt, I don't know, I just didn't like the feel of it. I didn't think it covered right. But now I love it. It just takes practice no matter what you do. Okay, so we're getting a good base on this. And then we'll dry it real well and come back over it. Now, if you've never painted on fabric and you're terrified, well, what if I mess it up? Then I've ruined a shirt or pants or vest or whatever it is that I'm painting on. Well, what I suggest is that you go to Goodwill or any thrift store and just get you some old pair of jeans at, $4 or $5 pair of jeans, or an old shirt or jacket. You can usually find these jackets there, and practice on it before you do what you're wanting to do on the actual fabric that you'll be doing the project on. And that's what I did. When I was learning, I would just get scrap pieces that I knew we weren't going to wear, or I'd get it in the thrift store. And it didn't matter to me if I messed it up, but I would just paint in different spots on it and try different techniques and different brushes to see what I liked best until I got used to them. And now I really enjoy it. It's supposed to start in raining like crazy tonight through tomorrow night, I believe. They said we could get up to 3 inches, and we have not had rain. We've had all that ice and snow, but we haven't had rain in quite a while, and we were really behind, so we need it. But I think I'm going to get my outside. I'm going to run get groceries, and got to run by the post office and all that kind of stuff done today, so I do not have to get out in the weather tomorrow. little bit east of us, they're calling for possible tornadoes and things like that here in February. We have been close the last few days, close to 80 degrees in February. I mean, even for us, that's not normal. So I told my husband, I said, okay, we've got to be getting some more cold air sooner or later, and they're going to clash. And you know what that means, storms. Hi, Linda. Hi, Janet. Going to eat tonight. Tomorrow, Camry and I are going to the Lucky Rabbit in Hattiesburg for her belated birthday. Well, that'll be fun. Chrissy, are you going to the Painters Clubhouse at Tamara's in July? And Janet, are you going? Anybody else on here going? I got my ticket purchased. They're about out of tickets. There's not many left. So that will be in Kentucky on in July. So we are planning to go to that. We've already got booked our Airbnb. Okay, now I'm just really working it into that fabric this first go around. It's very splotchy, but that's to be expected. And this color that I'm using is Delta Ceramcoat, and it's Old Parchment. I have a lot of Ceramcoat left over. Well, not a ton, but that used to be my go-to paint. It's kind of hard to find now, but I love the texture of it. I love the coverage. But it's really hard to find. I'm really not even sure that they still make it. I haven't ordered any in a long time. We have a gospel meeting at our congregation that starts Sunday and goes through Wednesday. It'll start at 7, well, regular church time on Sunday, and then through the week, it'll start at 7 o'clock each night. So those of you that are local, you know where the Howe Congregation church building is, in Howe, just off of 75. We would love to have you. We'll have lunch right after services Sunday morning, and then we'll have snacks and things each night afterwards. Jared Jackson will be our speaker this year. So I'm very excited about it. We have a lot of things coming up in our congregation. A ladies symposium, we'll have that. Got a men's day and then a ladies' day. Lots of things. Okay, I'm trying to tighten that a little bit. So much harder if it's loose, but this one was really hard to get tight. And I think I need to come down a little further out on this side. Then we'll dry it good and put another coat on it. Now with the fabric paints, I will say you have to be careful because some of the colors are very stringy. When you load it, it'll have a big spaghetti string attached to it and it'll get all over your fabric. And it's not every color, so that's kind of weird, but okay, let's draw that. Now I use these brushes a lot for the, I missed a spot here, for doing this. I don't, unless I just need something special. I don't use my regular brushes a lot because I do tend to get a lot of paint up in there and I have to really scrub them good after each use. But in between coats, I go ahead and kind of wash it out, let it sit there a minute while I'm drying. Hi, Nancy. Taking a break from, well, I was going to call you, Nancy, afterwards to see if you were doing okay because I haven't seen your car over there, and I thought you're either out of town, or then I got to thinking you may be under the weather. So I was going to call you afterwards. I was going to call you before, and then I realized what time it was. I thought, oh, I don't have time to check on her now. So I was going to check on you afterwards. So I hope you're doing okay. I'm waving to you out my window. You can't see me, but Nancy is my across the street neighbor that paints beautifully, and I have learned so much from her. She just moved in, so she's unpacking still. And I'm so excited to have her in the neighborhood. You got to go to PC Live. Oh, you can't go to PC Live, Janet. I've got to have, oh, knee replacement. Oh, I'm so sorry. David's been through that, but he says he wishes he had done it so much sooner. Judy's going, yay. Only 3 tickets left. Ooh. That's not very many. Nolan loves weather, so he will be giving me updates about, oh yes, I've got a son that would love to have been a weatherman, so we get updates quite often. He was a paramedic for a long time, but he's very fascinated with weather and is usually right on with weather forecasts for us. All right, let's put coat number 2 on. And hopefully, we may need a 3rd coat. I don't know. We'll see. Now, the 2nd coat always goes on easier than that 1st coat because you got a good base to work on. This still feels a little bit damp over here. Let me try that just a little bit more. Little bit more. Thank you, Brenda. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it is a heart of sunflowers. Y'all know I love painting sunflowers. Makeup brushes for denim. Oh, that's cool. Windows and murals and banners. I haven't tried that. That's the way I am, Nancy. Just enough room to get my little card in there. David asked me the other day if I might want a van later on. And I said, well, I don't know, but we could fit a van in there with our workbench and all that stuff. He said, yeah, we could make it fit. And I said, I don't know. All right, that's a little drier. And I could probably go a little bit longer drying it, but for time's sake on this live, we're going to go through with it. I mean, we're going to go on with it. A lot of this will be covered up anyway. This is a ladies size small. But I've noticed with all these jackets and things, you'll get, even the same brand, you'll get 2 that are almost just alike, and they're both, let's say small, they're both marked small. Well, one is much larger than the other one. I mean, they're not the same size just because they say they are. Now, if you do mess up and get it somewhere where you didn't want it, then you can just paint something over it like it was supposed to be there. And how do I know that? Lots of practice fixing those happy little accidents. Because once it's on the fabric, it's hard to get it off. Okay, I'm going to turn it around as I about dump my paint in the floor. And go this direction. Brenda's going in July, yay! We've been getting first time giggles out of little Ellie. She's 4 months old, and she just this past week has started laughing out loud. And oh my goodness, just music to your heart. So precious. We have 8 grandchildren, and it is just as special with number 8 as it was with number 1. Okay, slowly but surely we're getting there. That's one thing with fabric, you got to be patient. And if you don't get that good base down, it just makes it hard for everything else you're going to do. So you want to take your time and do it right the first time. I almost was late getting on here because I was looking at my clock in the living room. That I was sitting in there working on some stuff, and it said 10 minutes till 12. So I thought, okay, I've got plenty of time to do this. And then something on TV, or I don't remember what it was, came on and told the actual time, which was 45 minutes later. The battery had gone out in my clock. It had stopped. So, thank goodness. I heard that and realized, hey, it was actually about 15 till 1. So, I'm glad I caught it before it was too late. We have 170, last time I looked, 171 people in the tips and techniques tutorial. That's going to be on Saturday, February the 28th. We'll have 2 sessions, 10 to noon, and then 3 to 5. And it's just little simple tricks and techniques and things that I've learned along the line. We will practice some shading, a couple of different ways to shade. And just some little tips like that. It is free, does not cost you a thing, and it's called Tips and Techniques Tutorial Workshop. That's the name of the page. So if you would like to be a part of that, just send me a message and say, please send me an invite, and I'll get you an invite for you to get in that page. There will be replays of it for, I think Facebook leaves it on 30 days. I'm not positive on that, but there will be for a few days. There'll be replays on there. All you're going to need is something to take notes on if you're a note taker. Something to paint on. Cardboard, multimedia book, paper sack, pieces of paper sack, poster board cut up, just anything to paint on, to practice on. And we're going to do several different little strokes and just a few little things. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I am not a technical person. I don't do a lot of stuff on the computer as far as designs and things like that. I still have not gotten into Procreate and mastered it. I do things the old-fashioned, probably harder way, but it works for me. So if you are one that technology has just passed you up and you just got to make it work how you could make it work, then this workshop will be for you, because I've got little tips and things that I do that Mr. Computer does not have to be a part of it. And again, it's February the 28th. It'll be from 10 to noon, and then from 3 to 5-ish, depending on when we get done. Okay, that was coat number 2, so we're getting there. One more coat should do it. Anybody know what it's going to be yet? It's going to be very simple as far as the design on this. I will add extra things off camera because I won't have time to do that today. Might possibly, I don't know. We'll see. Get on here tonight if I have to finish it. Just want it good and dry, because if you don't get it good and dry, you're just wiping off the paint that you just put on it. Okay. Just watching while I'm waiting on my friend. I'll have to catch the replay. Okay, Nancy. Okay, Brenda mentioned the hat class. That is not until April. And I hope there's not going to be a lot of mad people at me, but I just wanted to do a class to finish up what hats that I have left. I only have 37 hats. So when I start announcing spots that you can pay for, it's just going to be first come, first serve. Because I am limited on the hats that I have, and not ordering any further ones for this workshop or for that one. And you won't know what color hat you're getting because I have random colors of hats, and I'm just going to put them all in the boxes, and nobody's going to know. I'm not even going to know who gets what. I'm just going to close them up and then put labels on them as I print labels. So it's going to be whoever pays first when I start making those tickets available. But what I decided last night, because I'm getting a little nervous because I've had so many ask me about them. I really did not think it would be a very big response on them. But y'all are proving me wrong. So what I will do is, if you are not able to get in on it and you're wanting to, you will be able, I'm going to do it on my regular page. You just won't have the kits that we have in the hats. You'll have to provide your own hats and brushes and wig head and stuff like that. The ones that are fast and pay and get in on it, they will get all that stuff in their kit. But I'll give you more information on that when it gets closer to time. Okay, yes. This coat should cover it just fine because we're going to have so much over it that I think it'll be fine. Now, usually I tell you, be careful, don't get paint up in your ferrule, this metal part. But as you can see, this one's had paint up in it many times. For me, it's just hard not to when I'm doing fabric, because I really want to work it down into the fabric. I have seen some people painting on fabric that will take a spray bottle and spray their area and get it wet before they start painting on it. They said it helps the paint work into it better. I have not tried that, so I don't know. Okay, let me clean this up right here a little bit. I'm just about out of paint, so this is working out really well. Okay, there's still some spots that are a little bit splotchy, but we're going to be painting over it, so it's not going to matter. Not going to matter that much. All right, let's get it good and dry. I'll let my paint be soaking a little bit. David made a fire in our fire pit last night, and we sat out there. It was so nice. And we sat out there for probably an hour, hour and a half. Enjoyed it so much. Now, if you're nervous about getting it other places, you could tape this off. These areas up here, you could tape it off with painter's tape or masking tape, either one. Okay, I think we're good for that. Now I need to mix a little bit of, just a little bit of brown. We're going to use dark chocolate. And it's just regular acrylic. So I'm going to mix just a little bit just for shading. So I don't need much. So there's my paint. And then I'm going to put just a little bit. So it's 2 to 1. 2 paint, 1 of the fabric medium. And that's how I measure. I just guesstimate it. It's going to be milky. And you just stir it until it's not milky anymore. Until you just see your straight paint color. Okay. Wipe that off. Okay, so I'm going to take, I am going to use one of my regular paintbrushes that I don't always use on the fabric to do some shading. So I'm going to use an angle brush. I'm going to get it just a little bit wet. And then we'll start doing a little bit of shading around the edge. I think I'm going to go with a little bit wider angle. That one's a little bit narrow for what I'm wanting. You can also use a flat brush. It doesn't matter. I'm getting just the tip of it with paint on it, just that toe. And just blending it in, and you get such a nice texture. because of the fabric. So I'm putting a little bit of water on it. And if you get too much water, just let it dry a minute and then you can go back over it. I'm just really pressing down on it. And again, some of this may even get covered up, so I'm not taking a lot of pains with it. I will go on the outside of the heart with a deep blue, probably deep midnight blue or a deep navy after everything is done on it. That way it doesn't look like it's just laying flat on the jacket. On your fabric, it kind of lifts it. We could even go with a little bit darker brown, but I think this is going to be okay. Kind of doing it upside down here. Turn it around. Clean that up just a little bit. You don't want your brush getting too dirty with the paint, or you'll end up with a harsh line on the inside. And might even outline it in black afterwards. Not sure. Had a lady call me a couple of days ago and ask if I was the Pam Savage that lived at this address. I said, yes. She said, well, I'm the one that built your house. And I accidentally had an Amazon package or an Old Navy package sent to that address because I used to live there and I just clicked on the wrong address. And she wanted me to see if we'd gotten it. Well, it had just come. So I told her yes. Anyway, we got to talking and she sent me pictures of our home being built because we didn't have that, and house plans. And so it was really cool. And this room that I'm in now, that's my craft room and Mr. Pam's little office area, was her little girl's nursery. She brought her little girl home to this this house 10 years ago. So anyway, that was pretty cool to get to learn all of those facts and to see pictures of our house as it was being built. All right, let's do the same thing on the inside. All right, my comments are frozen up on the iPad, so if I'm not seeing your comments, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can look down here. Hi, Susie. I have got to kick it in high gear. Throw a tablecloth over my dining room table and get some batch painting done. But it will be not this coming week because we have, like I said, that gospel meeting every night that starts at 7 at night. And then, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I have the girls' youth group here at our house after morning services. We're going to be having lunch and Bible study, a game or two, just some good fellowship. All right, what do y'all think I'm doing to this heart? Butchering it? No promises that I'm not. This is one of those, just throw something on there with some chalk and see what happens. Let's see, so the next thing we will have will be the tips and techniques workshop, and then after that, I'll have to look at the date. I don't have it in front of me. We'll have the new design Dip and Dotty sale, spring designs. That is on March the 13th at 10 a.m. is the next Dip and Dotty sale. March the 13th at 10 a.m. So if you want to mark your calendars for that, I'll be posting it and reminding you of that. I really like the new designs. They're so cute. Okay, I gotta get with it on this shading and get done. And remember, your paint's always going to dry a little bit darker. So if you're not happy with how it's going on, just dry it and then re-look at it. Now, I would probably dry this and go around it again. But for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. But the fabric, depending on what fabric it is, but something like this really helps you with the shading. I mean, it just gives you the perfect texture. Okay, so we've got it shaded all the way around now. And again, I will go on the outside with the darker color to kind of lift it up. I started to do a full heart, and then I thought, nah, let's just do it like this. And I can add some things if I want to later on. Okay, now I'm going to switch to honey brown. And again, it's just the regular paint. So I'm going to mix a little bit of it with the fabric medium. I'm going to do a little bit more because I don't want to run out. Okay, see how milky it is? Stir it up, and I do suggest you don't stir it over your fabric in case you splatter it. So you just mix and mix and mix until that milkiness is gone. And you have your true paint color. And I just mixed that with the handle of one of the brushes. And to put this on, the pattern on, I just used a little piece of chalk. That's all I used. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to I'm going to use a round brush. So it is not going to be one of the typical brushes I use when I'm painting on fabric. This is one of my regular brushes. And we're just going to make some, let's see, do I want a round or do I want a filbert? Let's see what I've got over here in my little arsenal. I had a filbert, but I was using it on something else, and I may have left it in there where I was cleaning up. Oh, there's one. I'm going to try it with a filbert first instead of the round and see what we get. So if you haven't guessed yet, did anybody guess? No, not sunflowers. On this one, I will be doing some with sunflowers, but this one, I'm going to just do some leopard print. Leopard print is still so popular. I mean, it just, we were counting Sunday morning at church, last Sunday morning. It was mine and David's turn to help with greeting everybody as they come in the door. We have a team of greeters, and it was our turn. So one of the other ladies that was helping, we got to counting how many women were walking in with something that had leopard print on it. And of course, there were lots of blouses and some dresses and even some shoes. There were lots of shoes. So I'm just doing some leopard print blobs here. And if you've never painted leopard print, it is so easy. I used to be terrified to even try it. But you just little wiggles here and there. Doesn't really matter what the shape is. At first, it looks like it's got the chicken pox or something. So I'm doing that in honey brown. And I'm going to make some come off or go right up to that line. And so that's what I said. Some of our shading would be covered up. I'm making some of them little, making some of them larger, and making them go in different directions. But it is super easy to paint. So if you've never done it, I really suggest that you give it a try. And you can do it in any color. Just use a little bit lighter background of the color you're using. If you're doing pink, do a light pink as the background, and then do a darker pink for your spot centers. And then do even a darker pink or the black for your outside. And you can put as many or as few as you want. Once you get it done, all done, if it looks a little sparse somewhere, just add another one. You can also do cowhide. I have not done cowhide, but that would also work. Now you could do a heart like this and fill it with flowers and vines in that shape, and I will probably end up doing that on one of them. But again, you can take any pattern that you have. If you're not sure, well, what would I paint on one? Just use one of your patterns that you use on door hangers and just put you some graphite paper down. I would get a very light graphite paper, not carbon paper. Carbon paper and graphite paper are two different things. The carbon paper is very messy. It's going to get all over everything. The graphite paper, you have to really press to kind of get it to get all over everything. So, I mean, it's much easier to work with. You don't have to worry about it getting on your fabric. Okay, let me fill in a little bit. So I'm just putting some smaller ones here and there. So I don't want them all just along the edge. I want some in the middle. That's the hardest thing, is to knowing when to stop. But I want to make sure I've got close to the same amount over here that I do over here. Okay, I think we're good there. You know, after we get done, I feel like it needs some more, then we will do some more. Okay, so we need to dry those really well. And I may do some ribbon coming down to the center with 2 little hearts on it. I'm not sure yet. Yes, Chrissy, there are lots of heart-shaped everything. I think I want, I lied. I think I want one more right over here. Whoops, didn't get all the water out of that brush. Okay, now let's get it good and dry. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but just dry enough that you're not going to be smudging it. And you want to look at it. Do you need to go over any of these? I think these look thick enough. I just want to get them dry enough to where they're not gonna blend in with the black outline. Just dry enough. Okay, now we want to go with black. Okay, this is Fabric Paint Black. And it's Fabric Creation. And it's one that is super stringy. But I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. But that's what I was talking about. You have to be really careful with it. It's one of the colors in this brand anyway that is super stringy. I don't know if you can see that string, how long that lasted on there. It's like eating spaghetti or cheese. And it's a stringy piece and you try to break it or wrap your fork around it. Well, that's what this is. That's what it does. And you don't want to think you've got it on your brush and you're okay. And then you go over here, well, you've just strung it all the way across. So you want to be very careful with it. Okay, so I've just got this round brush and I think it will be big enough. Let's try. Okay, but I want you to see that stringiness. So you just want to be really careful with that. A little bit too much on there. And then you're just going to come around and outline each side, or maybe the top and the bottom, or you can put 3 on there. Just make them go in all different directions. And then you've got the beginnings of your leopard print. You can go in and highlight with white or something inside the centers if you want to. You can add as much or little detail as you want to. So I'm just making squiggly lines, following the shape of the circle, or the blob, I guess you would call it. Let's put a little one right there too. You just want them to all look a little different. You don't want them all the same. And each time you'll get going so good, and you'll forget about that string of paint, so you want to be very careful about that. I was painting a shirt for Tamara Bennett's daughter, Charlie, and that happened. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do? You know, it just ruined it. What am I going to do? I had paint outside of the pattern, and it was not supposed to be there. So I ended up putting little, I don't remember if it was butterflies or bumblebees or flowers or something. So it made it look like it was supposed to be there. And she never knew it until I told her. I don't know that I own anything with leopard print. I can't think of anything. Oh, I take that back. I do have a skirt that has a little bit of leopard print in it. Okay, be thinking, do you think this would look better outlined in black, the whole heart inside and out? Or not? And once this dries really well and I get it set, I will probably put some little leopard print on the pockets on the front. You could even put a dot of black in the centers of these. And notice each time I'm making sure that lets go, that paint lets go. Hi, Patty. Hi, Gail. Okay, bye, Christy. My comments have slowed down over here on the iPad. All right, now it's catching up. So what I've got planned for the next few months for y'all is the Dippin' Dottie sale. a hat tutorial, painting hats. I've only got 37 spots for that one to get the kits. Now you can paint along with us if you have everything, but I only have 37 kits that I will be selling for that. And then we have okay, the hat one. Then we have a spring. Ooh, I'm so excited about the spring one. And then I have an in-person paint party. Had to change the date on it. It was in July, but it is now going to be August the 1st at the Mariachi's restaurant where we had it last year. And that is going to be to paint Mrs. Claus to go with your Mr. Claus that you did last year. And then right after the in-person party, we will do it online for those that aren't able to come in person. The in-person is so much fun because we get to meet each other, we get to talk. I can walk around and say, you know, for any questions. Everybody gets to see how each other paints it. Everybody paints different. And then we have a wonderful meal. That includes your meal when I get the price set up. So we really had a good time last year. We've actually, this will be our 3rd time to paint there, and everybody loved the food. Got that, and then we'll have another fall Dippin' Dottie sale with some new fall designs. So got a lot going on. Okay, everybody look, did I miss one? I think I got them all. Let's dry that just a little bit so I'm not running my arm through that. Hi, Caroline. That will be in, let's see when the hat class is. We've got the Tips and Techniques workshop coming up this month on the 28th. We'll have the Dottie sale on March the 13th. And then April 16th, 17th, and 18th is going to be the hat workshop. I've only got 37 spots, so it'll just be whoever pays first. It'll just be first come, first serve of who says, please include me. I will say yes, I will invoice. And it'll just be the first ones that get their payments in. So that's the only way I know how to do it because I only have 37 hats. All right, so we're getting these good and dry. Okay, I didn't see anybody say yes, outline it in black. I think it's going to look better if we do. So can I make an executive decision and say, yes, we're going to outline it in black. And the black is not a gloss paint, but it does dry a little glossy. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around. And let's just use that same brush that we were just using. And let's try not to rub my arm in. One of these spots because they're not completely dry. Okay, I do like it outlined. I'm not a huge outliner on most of my projects, but there's some that just really call for it. Okay, I think I like that. I'm getting it pretty thick on there. Now, if you did get it, the paint where you don't want it, you can also take rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer and get a toothbrush, really work on it. You'll have to do some scrubbing to get it out. Okay, so this side has lining, this one doesn't. So I like the lining on it. What do you think? Too late now to go back, but Caroline, you'll have to, okay, this is a grabby number 5 round. In regards to the hat workshop, I won't be selling those tickets until April, so I won't be sending any invoices until the day I go live selling the tickets. You know, to be fair to everyone. So you'll need to, the day of, and I'll announce that, the day that I'm going to be going live to do that, so that everybody has equal opportunity. I've got to get past the tips and techniques tutorial and the Dip and Dottie sale before I can start taking invoices for anything else. My brain would be fried. But I do want everybody to get it on their radar. Know that it's coming up. So nobody can say, well, I didn't know anything about it. Because I don't want anybody to miss out. But again, this one is very limited, only 37 spots. But if you're just getting on, what we will do, what I decided to do is, if you weren't one of the lucky ones to be able to get the kit, you can go purchase your own items and paint with us. Paint along with us. I will put almost everything you need in the kits. This is the first year that I sat down for several days and worked on and got all of my events planned out. The date, what we'll be doing. I've already got the instructions printed. I wrote those up and printed those out. I have them in a special notebook so that I can just pull that notebook out and go, okay, it's, what did I say we were doing here? Okay, now we've got to go around the outside as well. I love these grabby brushes. They have held up so well. The grabby ones and the these, it's called a Keep Smiling brush with the black handle. I mean, the black ferrule and the white handle. I got them off Amazon. I love, love, love these. Okay, so we've got that outline done. To dry it just a little bit. Now this black is a little hard to tell when it's completely dry because again, it's shiny. Typically doesn't take it very long to dry with the dryer though. Okay, so let's do this outside, and I'm going to start down here at the bottom. In the drier this paint gets on your paint palette, the stringier it gets. So just be careful. So I asked the question on my page, sometime last week, I think, or maybe this week, I don't remember. Which type brush do you use the most? And I put a picture of different styles of brushes. Hands down, the angle brush and the flat brush were the most used brushes, used brushes out of all of you. Flat and angle. Very few listed the liner brush, and that's one of my favorites. The one that was least used, and some said they didn't even know what it was for, is the fan brush. And there are some things that it's very helpful on, and we'll go over that in the tips and techniques workshop. Again, that one is free, and that's this month, the 28th, from 10 to noon and 3 to 5 that day. All you have to do is send me an email or send it in instant or in Messenger to say, please add me to the tips and techniques. Tips and I can't talk, y'all. Okay, reset. Tips and techniques tutorial workshop, and I will get you an invite sent. You do have to be following my page though. So if you haven't hit that follow button, you'll have to do that or it won't let me send you an invite. I discovered that. And you can invite anyone you want to be a part of that. It's free. Would love to get some on there that have never painted and get them maybe excited to start painting. That's the whole purpose of this, is to get others, into painting. So that tradition will be carried on after some of us old ones are gone. I won't say old, I'll say older. Okay, so almost finished with this side. And then we'll finish out with the other one. And I will probably just walk by this a couple of days and figure out what else, if anything, I want to put on it. All right, I'm going to turn it just a little so that I'm not dragging my arm through it. You could also do this with a fabric pen if you weren't comfortable painting it on. I haven't used the fabric pens, so I can't say yay or nay on them, but I know people that do. Now I am doing it in a little bit shorter strokes just to kind of work it into that fabric. Now if you were painting this, what would you put on here? What else would you do to it? Or would you do anything else? On the tips and techniques, Pamela, it will be different tips and techniques. It'll be different things that morning, and then we'll do something different in the afternoon. And I won't be able to get everything in that one workshop, so we might do another one later on. That was the hardest thing, deciding, okay, what are we going to do? There's so many things I want to show them, but can't do them all. Susie, you said, where did you get them? Where did I get what, hun? Where did I get what? The brushes, these grabby brushes, I got off of Amazon, if that's what you're referring to. I got them on Amazon. Just trying to see if it had anything else on it. Just grabby, G-R-A-B-I-E. On the tips and techniques tutorials that's coming up, if you're on that page, you'll notice several of the women are already making comments and getting to know each other, and I tell you in there what all you need. You're not going to need much at all. Just paint, a variety of brushes, and something to paint on, whether it's cut up sheets of grocery sack, cut up pieces of poster board, a multimedia book, just scrap pieces of wood, whatever you want to practice some strokes on. last couple of strokes here. Okay, let's get this dry. And that Grabby brand, I like the shape of the brushes. See how it's got where you can hold your hand right here. A lot of times if I'm doing lining work, I'm right down here on the ferrule. I don't know how the people that hold them up here and do it. I just don't have enough control over it. But they have all different sizes. This is a very short, round. And they have angles and everything. These are great, great shaders. It's the Keep Smiling. This is a number 8 angle. I got those off of Amazon. I don't buy the really, really nice brushes for my paint parties, because if you've ever been to a paint party, you know that not everybody is a good brush mama. And some of those brushes, even by the end of one party, look like they've been put through a shredder or something. They take a beating for sure. So I don't spend a lot of money on the paint party brushes, but all of the ladies that attend my paint parties know they are more than welcome to bring their own brushes. I will have mine available, but they are welcome to bring their own. I always take my favorite brushes to paint parties when I go. Some of my brushes and myself, my brushes know what I'm wanting to do before I even start doing it. We've been together that long. I've got a few brushes that I've been using for over 30 years that I love, and I wash them thoroughly with soap after every time I paint. And they have lasted me for a long, long time. We have a good friendship going. Okay, have you thought of anything that you would put on this? Okay, everybody, look at Caroline Whitfield's, waving at my mailman, comment. She says, is anyone from, is it Fuquay, Verena, Apex, or Raleigh, North Carolina area watching today? I paint solo and would love to meet some ladies. Oops. And would love to meet some ladies near me, and we could paint together. Okay, so Caroline is trying to find somebody in her area to get together to paint with. I love that, Caroline. Thank you. It is so much fun to paint with someone else that understands your love for it, and you can learn from each other. I had 8 to 10 women, local women that I had met online or through somebody else's paint party that I did not know lived near me. Had them over to my house last year, and we had a paint party here in my home, and we had the best time. It was so nice to get to see some people in person. Okay, we've got just a few minutes, but I'm going to show you the difference in, I'm going to use Payne's Gray. It's really, let's see how much darker it is then. Yep, I'm going to use Payne's Gray. It's a deep blue grayish color, just to kind of shade around the outside, and I'll also do the inside of it. Well, I may go ahead and do the inside first, but I need to mix, because it's just regular acrylic. I need to mix some of that fabric medium with it. I'm not going to put much at first. I may have to put more, but... Okay, and then I need to just mix it up. Now I put a little extra fabric medium in that because I'm going to be shading with it. And I did want it to move a little smoother. Okay, so I'm going to get my angle brush. And I'm going to get that fabric a little wet. I'm going to get a stiffer brush at first, just to kind of get some water around this. So I'm just getting the fabric wet. So you want to make sure that that lining is done. Good and dry before you do this, and that's why I got it dry first. So you can kind of see with it just wet the difference that it makes with that darker inside. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like with this paint. So I'm just going to go right around those edges. And when it dries, it'll have that darker inside. It is a little hard when you wet it like that to tell. You don't want to go over that black line that you just did. So you just have to kind of know where you're placing your paint. I do this on a lot of my door hangers on things, just so it doesn't look so flat. It gives it some dimension. In our tips and techniques class, I'll be showing you, I saved one of my pieces that I did to show you how I put the door hangers on the back. I mean the hangers on the back of my projects. So a lot of you, this will not be new stuff to you. You've been doing it a long time. It might remind you of some things that you've forgotten. But if you're a newbie as far as painting, there will be several things that I think will help you. Okay, so I am basically just rubbing that dark blue paint on there. And I'll let it dry, and if I decide it needs to be darker, I can go back around it. At the end of the tips and techniques tutorial, I will also more than likely give you a little tour of my little craft corner here. I've been working on it and redoing some things, so it might not be in the best shape, but you can at least see it and see the process. I'm a believer, no matter how large or small of a space you have, organization is, to me, it's just crucial. My brain just doesn't think. I just can't get creative when everything's a total wreck. Now, there are days it's out of whack, and if I've been working on a big project and whatever, that's different. But I have to know where things are when I want them. My husband was asking me for all kinds of things last week when we were working on those cabinets, putting cabinet handles on. And he said, do you have? And I go, yes, it's in the top right hand, blah, blah, blah. And I bet, I don't know how many times he asked me for something. And he was very impressed that I immediately knew where to tell him to go to get whatever it was that he needed. And right there it would be. And I would say when he was done, did you put that back exactly where you got it? Yes, ma'am. It may look like chaos to those from the outside looking in, but it is organized chaos. I know where it is. And I will show you how I store my patterns, most of them, because as I said, I am not a computer person, so I don't have a lot of stuff on my computer. I have some, but not much. Mine's done the old-fashioned way, but it works for me. I would love to be a computer-brained person because I think it comes in so handy, and you can do a lot of things, you know, with them, but they just don't like me, and I've decided to accept myself as I am. I used to just beat myself up because why can't I understand that? My 9-year-old grandson can do it. Why can't I? Well, God just did not put that spark plug in my brain. Now, I know it's hard for you to see on camera where I'm putting this because it is wet and it just all looks the same, but trust me, and it does show up in person. Okay, let's dry it just a little bit. Now, there is a spot over here where the base color of the heart, I kind of got off line with it, out of line. So I'm putting a little bit of extra on it. Okay, is there anyone on here that has never painted fabric? Never painted on any kind of material? Okay, it's going to take the fabric itself a little while to dry where I put all that water, but I think you can see the difference. I haven't done the outside yet, so I don't have any on the outside, but I do on the inside. Now let me show you what I was thinking about. I am going to do the outside also, but let me show you what I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about coming down with just a couple of little strings. And a heart or two. Oops, I got that one. A little wompy jawed. Okay, so let me show you. See if you can see that. See, just with that chalk, I think I want a couple of little hearts hanging down there. And then I could even do, might do a bow. Around the top of it to look like it's got a bow on it. Okay, so I think I will do that. I won't have time to do it on here, but I will post a picture of it. So we've got just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and do, the outside of this while I've got that paint good and wet. And I'm making sure that I'm using clean water. I don't want dirty water on it because it'll leave some paint in there that you don't want. So I'm wetting it with clean water. I have a jar of water for just cleaning my brushes after base coating and doing things, but then I have a little jar over here of water that I use just to clean my brushes that I'm shading with. Because I don't want to muddy it up. Because it would not give me the effect that I want. And after this dries completely, if I want it to be a little bit darker, I will just go back over it. I'm not even being really careful about getting it just perfect. I want it to fade out a little bit, to come out. But you can see it really makes a difference and makes it look 3D. I'm getting quite a bit of paint on there, more than I typically would, shading, because I do want it to really show up. Okay, let me turn it around. Let's get some more water on it. I dropped my brush. There it is. There it is. So you can see the top of the heart without it, and then around with it. Now, of course, the fabric is still wet, so it won't be that bold. But it'll be enough that it will make a difference. So I just keep dipping into that water. And when I'm finished completely with it, I will let it dry really well, and then I'll stick it in the clothes dryer for about 10 minutes on high heat to set the paint. I'll let that cool down, and then I will put fabric Mod Podge or Mod Podge fabric on it. You just brush it on. I do the outside and the inside. On the inside of the jacket is what it suggests on the jar. So I do both. And I can tell where it's just wet, but also where I have the paint. So I know where to stop and start. I thought about doing scallops around it, but I decided not to do that and just fill in the center with the little hearts. Hi, Sherry. Thank you. Patty says she's never painted on material. Oh, you're going to have to try it. Susie has not. No, it's not burnt umber. It is dark chocolate. Deco Art dark chocolate mixed with fabric medium. Now, you can use burnt umber. Any kind of brown. That's a little bit darker than your base. Okay, I've got another question. Who does not like painting on canvas and why? What is it about painting on canvas that you do not like if you don't like it? I really like it. It's different. It's just a whole different texture. I'm going to have to get the sleeve a little bit tight over here. It's kind of bunched up. I couldn't get it completely tight because of the things that are on the front of it. I've had a couple of classes that well, more than a couple, that we painted on canvas. And at first, some of them were like, oh, I do not like this. But by the end of the class, they got the feel of it and knew what to expect. And it was much easier for them. They decided, well, it wasn't so bad after all. Sorry, I got a paintbrush in my mouth. Like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. Typically, I do this at my dining room table because it does take a little more, it's easier with a little more space. But I did not want to move my camera, stand, and everything else to put in there. Okay, we've just about got this shaded. Try to keep you in camera there, sorry. Now let it dry really well and go back and look at it to make sure I didn't miss a section. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and while I'm letting that dry, I think I'm going to go ahead and base in these little hearts before this paint dries. And these are just free-handed hearts, so they are not going to be exactly the same. And they'll have little bitty leopard print spots on them. And you want to be sure and go back after everything's dry, after you're done. And if you have any chalk lines that you need to get rid of, you know, wipe those off. You can do it either with I like to just do it with an old paintbrush, or just an old brush that you have. I said paintbrush, I meant toothbrush. But also if you have an old stiffy paintbrush that it's not going to get paint on it, you could also get rid of it that way. Okay, there's heart number 1. This is a little angle brush that I'm using. When I first started painting, I tried using an angle brush and I just hated them. This is so hard. I don't like them. And I think I just wasn't giving it time. Now it's one of my favorites, just like most of you on here. But I tried and tried shading with them, and just never could get it to do what I wanted it to do. So I just put it aside for a few months. But then I was determined that I was going to give it another chance. And so I just kept at it, and now it's one of my favorites. They're really good for getting up in tight spots. Okay, let's draw that. I just felt like we needed something in here, and then I'll do some ribbon. I know, yeah, you can order it. But it's not like going and handling it. And our Michaels carries it. I haven't been over there to check it out. Hi, Jan. Thank you. It does, Sheila. It does take a little bit getting used to. But once you do it 2 or 3 times, I kind of like, especially shading on it, because the texture of the canvas helps you shade or highlight. Float is the actual term for it. I will put the Mod Podge on just the painted area. I won't do the whole jacket. Now it's going to get on part of the jacket, but I try not to, but it will. But I just make sure that this is covered. Whatever's painted, I make sure it's got Mod Podge on it. It's not going to hurt if you get it on the other parts. Sometimes you can get pretty good deals on decoart.com. On their paints. All right, let's put another coat on. Make that one come down a little bit further. And I'll go in and do some shading, just like we did on the big one in that dark chocolate. But I have got some errands that I've got to get done today before all the rain sets in tonight. I've got to go get groceries, got to go by the post office, got to go see my mama. pin on her. Okay, now the great thing about these ice trays, these silicone trays, is I've got to come back to it, and I can just put the lid on it. I got this one at Southern Adornments from Tamara Bennett. I bought it there. And when I come back, it's going to be completely, it'll stay wet. Well, I had one that I took to her event a year ago. I forgot about it, pulled it out of my bag, and it was still wet enough that I could use it. That was a year. But I also had it wrapped in foil, but still. So you might have to add a little bit of water to it or something, but they will stay, they'll be perfectly wet for me tonight when I come, if I want to finish working on it tonight. But that's what I have in plan for it. And I'll put some ribbons up here to kind of fill it in. And then on the front part, I don't know if you can see or not, but on the pockets, I'll probably put a heart and some ribbon or something with, I don't know yet, with it on there. But look how that shading, get you up here where you can see. I do too, Pam. In fact, I contacted corporate of Hobby Lobby. Several of us did. We sent emails, very kind, but very to the point that we were super disappointed in Hobby Lobby for discontinuing that. They got hundreds and hundreds of calls and emails, and maybe even thousands, I don't know, but they were very nice. And the lady that I talked to said, we will pass it on to corporate. You know, the new paint that they have is the paint that they make. So they're trying, you know, to sell it. I'm going, well, just sell it at a cheaper price than Deco Art and give us the choice. But anyway, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere or not. But we do have a Michaels, so I can go over at Michaels and get it. But look at the difference that shading on the outside makes. It's still a little bit wet up here. It'll have to dry a little while. But I'll do those little hearts. I'll put another coat on there. And then put some ribbon and who knows what else up there. But I'll have another jacket under my belt. Done. All right, ladies. I've got to go get my stuff done. Yes, Caroline. I think, you know, probably in a few more months, I may contact them again because they could definitely start carrying it again. It's their choice, you know, to do it. But I will let them know every time I go in. I get all my paint at Michael's now. You know, I don't come in here as much because you don't have what I need. A lot of their craft things are kind of disappearing, and it's becoming more of a Target, and I don't like that. Hobby Lobby is my go-to place. You know, I love Hobby Lobby. So I hope they don't make any more changes. All right, I think that's everyone. Let's see, Deco Art is still available. Is Sherry just, yes, Deco Art paint is definitely still available, and they have all kinds of new colors just in the last few weeks, but you can order it online or you can get it at Michael's. I don't know of any other stores that carry it other than Michael's. There may be, I'm just not aware of it, but Hobby Lobby has definitely done away with it. But Deco Art is still going strong. You can order online from them. All right, ladies, that's it for today. Thanks for joining in with me. I'm going to go eat something so I don't go to the grocery store hungry. If I do, I always spend $50 to $60 more than I had on my list because you're hungry and everything looks good. So I'm going to go eat a snack right quick. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me so much. And don't forget, February 28th is the Tips and Techniques tutorial workshop. That is free. Doesn't cost you a penny. You'll just use your own materials. But if you want to be a part of that, I have to send you an invite. So send me a message in Messenger or email me at youngheartcreations@icloud.com. and say you want to be a part of that, and I will get you an invite sent. All right, thanks, ladies. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.